and eastern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. More rain could fall tonight as some rivers run high. Our severe weather alert day continues. Meteorologist Evan Hatter has more on what to expect. Evan, another nasty evening on tap.
That's right, Steve. We're continuing to watch that area of rainfall that was across our far southern sections earlier on today. That continues to lift to the north, and that means we're going to continue to see rain chances increase from south to north as we head through the nighttime hours tonight and hopefully give our folks near the Tennessee border a little bit of a break. I-64 at Moorhead, you see what we're seeing out there right now. Plenty of rain falling on the interstate at this moment. It's going to be a soggy one around the region tonight. Downtown Whitesburg, a little bit brighter in spots. They're sitting at 50 degrees right now. A soggy Main Street there. It feels like 50. The dew point's 50. We even have a little bit of fog out there. Visibility at 2.5 miles. Temperatures around the region continuing to see middle and upper 50s in the far southern reaches of the area. Everybody else, low 40s. Even some upper 30s as you head up toward the I-64 corridor where they dealt with a touch of wintry precipitation earlier on today. There you see from earlier, our warm front continues to push to the north. As it does, we're going to see those southerly winds increase and bring up some warmer air as we head into later on tonight, because we've still got a cold front to go, and that's still developing out to the west. So keep an eye on that WYMT weather app tonight. We're going to continue to see temperatures actually increase overnight as that warm front moves through, and then fall once again as we head into tomorrow morning. Our highs are going to be at midnight tomorrow because we're going to be dropping those temperatures tomorrow. I'll have the latest on where the rain is now and where it's coming, where it's headed to coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. Russia's invasion of Ukraine could have a painful ripple effect around the world in the form of a potentially severe economic impact. Here in the U.S., the stock market tumbled early, and analysts predict price spikes from heating bills to grocery stores. CBS's Elise Preston has more from New York.
Americans woke to the sight of war in Europe as Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine, and the shockwaves may be on their way here to the pump, where drivers are already facing the highest prices in years.
Are you concerned that it's going to keep getting worse?
Yeah, it probably will. I wouldn't be surprised if it does.
Russia supplies 10% of the world's oil, and the prospect of disruptions has driven the price over $100 a barrel for the first time since 2014. It's pushing gas prices up past $6 a gallon in Los Angeles County, with the national average already at $3.54 a gallon.
I was shocked to see the prices.
Beyond the pain at the pump, higher gas prices can have a significant impact on the broader economy, translating to less travel, less eating out, and less shopping.
With inflation already at the highest level in decades, the crisis could affect everything from automakers to grocery stores.
We also could see agricultural prices for wheat and corn because Russia and Ukraine are big exporters. And finally, we could see metal prices when we look at iron ore, we look at palladium used in those chips that we need in cars.
The White House is watching, but says larger issues are at stake.
Standing up for our values is not without cost. What we're trying to do is minimize that cost.
Rattled stock investors took a roller coaster ride. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 800 points at the open before rebounding on the upside, as traders contemplate what could be Europe's biggest land war since World War II. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
And these new developments could complicate the decision-making at the Federal Reserve, which has been planning to raise interest rates to control prices. The crisis in Ukraine is likely to have an economic impact here in Kentucky. Experts say it's likely we could see those gas prices spike and food shortages continue. UK professor Karen Petrone has studied, traveled to, and observed Ukraine and Russia for years. She says what is taking place now has significant impacts and comes at a cost.
Ukraine is a major grain producer, and so theoretically that could affect food markets.
Experts also believe that Russia's military will likely overpower Ukraine. We spoke to another expert at UK today about the situation, and we'll have that for you coming up at 6. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell spoke to reporters this morning in Louisville supporting President Biden. World leaders denounced the start of the long-anticipated invasion with far-reaching consequences.
We're all together at this point, and we need to be together about what should be done. But I have some advice. Ratchet the sanctions all the way up. Don't hold any back. Every single available tough sanction should be employed, and should be employed now. There's no such thing as a little invasion.
Russia's actions could cause massive casualties, topple Ukraine's democratically elected government, and upend geopolitics and Europe's post-Cold War security balance. Today marked the second day of former Louisville officer Brett Hankinson's trial. Hankinson testified today and told investigators he thought someone was inside holding an AR-15 rifle, but prosecutors pointed out evidence technicians never found any AR-15 rifle rounds, casings, or an AR-15 at the scene. They also played a short body camera video of Hankinson coming into the scene while SWAT officers were guarding it, where he asked about guns.
Yeah, right there. That's theirs? Oh, it's ours, it looks like. Theirs is in there. But I'd back out until they get PIU in here. So. Isn't that very visible? We can see it.
One officer testified it was odd Hankinson had come into the scene before the public integrity unit had cleared it. Former Chief Steve Conrad also said it was odd that he saw Hankinson at the hospital following the shooting, unescorted by other officers. Different groups of Kentucky lawmakers are proposing plans to give bonus pay and tax relief. House Democrats are again calling for the Republican-led legislature to consider bonuses for essential workers. This while Republicans in a Senate panel quickly passed a one-time tax relief allocation. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on the two proposals, both of which could end up in the state budget.
It's time for school, it's time for school. Wake up, children, wipe your drool.
Wendy Young is a teacher in Fayette County who said the pandemic had her finding creative ways to both educate and entertain students.
But I remember the first week of school, I stayed up 24 hours. One time because I wanted to make sure that my students were prepared.
She joined labor union leaders and Kentucky House Democrats to once again ask the majority party to include bonuses in the state budget.
To join us in this effort to award the $400 million to these deserving workers.
We work tirelessly 10, 12, 15 hours a week, every day, nonstop. Working hard, trying to get food out. If we didn't have any food, you guys wouldn't be able to eat right now.
Senate Republicans have been hinting at tax reform for several weeks now. And while senators say this is not tax reform, they do say there is a plan to hand out a $500 tax rebate to all taxpayers. The Senate Budget Committee had a special meeting Thursday morning that advanced the bill to provide the rebates.
So the refunds will begin to come out late spring, early summer.
Senate Democrats said they had not had time to review the proposal. House Democrats also say it's too early to say much about it.
Just have to look at it. It's a positive, I believe, that there is some movement that way, but we have to look at the details.
Under the proposal, families could qualify for up to $1,000 in rebates. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
The two issues discussed today are in addition to several other tax relief measures discussed by the governor last week. One aims to lower vehicle tax assessments, and the other is a bill to temporarily lower the state sales tax by 1%. The 50th annual Kentucky Derby Festival Pegasus Pin is in. For a week, you can find it only at the Evan Williams Bourbon Experience. After that, it's heading to more than 1,400 locations. Today, limited edition Evan Williams single barrel vintage bourbon bottles were dipped in the gold wax, matching the coveted gold pin. It marked an unofficial start of sorts to Derby season. The pins are $6 in advance and $7 on site at KDF events. Pins will be available at additional locations starting March 3rd. Here's an interesting story that caught our attention today. It chips away at the age-old question of what happens to us when we die. A study is being done at the University of Louisville. A patient's unexpected death while being monitored revealed that in the 30 seconds before and 30 seconds after his heart stopped, his brain waves showed he was dreaming or recalling memories. It suggests that as we die, our last thoughts are a replay of moments from our lives, and recording those brain waves was a medical first.
And nobody had ever recorded from the dying human brain. This is the first time that we're doing that. So what we knew before were these experiences from people that tell us about near death, but nobody knew what the brain will do.
So when are we really dead? Researchers say we are still a long way from that answer. Similar findings have been found in studies on rats, but capturing that critical moment in a dying human brain remains almost impossible. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, a music series is heading to London with some good music, food, and drinks. Find out when that will be happening.
And keeping an eye on the potential for more heavy rain, especially in our southern counties. I'll have the very latest on the way next.